Hi guys, welcome to the live. I am Sean and I'm the owner of Go Savvy Designs. If you haven't been to the channel before, thank you for joining. If you are new to the channel, well, no, wait, hold on. I always mess this intro up. This is what live gets you. Thank you for joining. If you're new to the channel, please consider liking and subscribing. And also, if you've been with us before, thank you for coming back. Today, we're going to look at 5 more things. So, in our 5 more things, we're going to talk a little bit about types of stabilizer. And then once we do that, the next couple of lives will be about how to match your stabilizer, how to use it correctly, how to remove stabilizer, and then how to store your stabilizer. So the types of stabilizers, there are 4 types, but let me tell you, there are a lot of variants of the different types. So you have cutaway, you have tear away, you have wash away, and there's even heat away. So with those different types of stabilizer, it kind of makes it a little difficult for you to just kind of decide, what you might need to use on what type of materials that you're stitching on. So understanding the type of material that you will be stitching on is very, very important. So one of the things that I wanted to kind of show you were these booklets. So depending on where you may be purchasing your stabilizer, a lot of vendors actually have stabilizer packets that they can give you. Some places may call stabilizers backings or toppers, or toppings. So just kind of be mindful that, there are different types of names for stabilizer, but the official name is actually stabilizer. So thinking about the different types of stabilizer. Now, I'm going to tell you, here's one of what I call my oops moments. So when I was embroidering this towel, well, I didn't realize that my towel had folded in like that. And so guess what? I had to rip it off. And of course, look there, messed up my stitches. So there's gonna be mistakes. So guys, one of the things I want you to understand is there's always going to be mistakes. Having sample material is so, so important. I can't stress that enough. And so on a towel like this, the stabilizer that I use on the back, now this was my test stabilizer. So normally on a towel, I'm using a heavy cutaway. A heavy tearaway. So this particular one, I was just playing with it. This is actually a heavy cutaway, and it should have been a heavy tearaway. Now, there's different sizes of stabilizer. You can have anything from 1.5 ounces all the way up. Some people sell 3.5 and 3.8 ounces. So the type of stabilizer that you use is also very important, as well as the weight. So now your lightweight stabilizers are 1.5 ounces to 1.52. Your medium weight stabilizers are 1.8 ounces, all the way up to 2.3. 3 point and above are your heavy weight stabilizers. So 3.0 and above are heavyweight stabilizers. All right, so a couple other things. It is very important that you understand the material. And what I'm saying is matching your fabric to the stabilizer that you're about to use. Now, with a towel, for example, this one would be a heavy tearaway, but because it has what I would call pile or a, hey, Miss Joanne, or it has some type of feel where the stitches could potentially sink in. With this type of garment, you would actually put a topper on this. Now, there are a couple of things. Wash away is a type of tearaway. So if you put a wash away stabilizer on top of this, or even a heat away stabilizer on top of this, it would work. Hey, Miss Chrissy. So it's very, very important to understand what it would look like, because I actually, so because I embroider, I actually critique everything I see that is embroidered. And so I have this Santa hat that was embroidered, and I'm a Saints fan, by the way. And so you see this, this is what a sunken in embroidery looks like. So I purchased this from a store, but there's a lot of problems with this hat. First, there's no knockdown stitch, because if they put a knockdown stitch behind it, you see it a whole lot clearer. On number two, I don't think that they actually put a topper on this. So because of that, the stitches have sunken in. So there you have it. This is, to me, a pretty bad stitch out, but I still wear the hat because I like the Saints. Okay, don't judge me. Don't judge. All right. Now, again, for things that have pile like this and the fuzzy stuff, you want to make sure that you are putting a topper on it. Now, there are, for your toppers, and I have a drawer right here in front of me, toppers look a little different. So a lot of toppers that you will see, they look like this clear film. Now, this is a wash away stabilizer. But there is also another type of wash away stabilizer that doesn't look so clear. And let me show you that one. So this is the Floriani Wet and Gone. It's still water, but look at that. It's like a cloth. So that's a whole different type of wet water stabilizer. So two different kinds. Now this kind I actually use on a lot of my appliques. So if I was doing something, actually the best thing, lace. So if I'm making some sort of lace item, maybe it's an ornament, then I will use this. And so this type is really, really good. Now, my heat away stabilizer also is clear, but I know you can't really see it, but there's like some little bumps on the back of here, so that when you actually put some heat on it, it just melts, it rolls right off. So it's almost like having Rain-X on your windshield, but when you put some heat on here, it just bubbles right off and rolls away. So I like this a whole lot better. One of the other reasons why I like it, because it's already perforated, but then I also like it because not only does it clean easier because of the heat, but it also will do, I don't have to wet the garment. So I feel that when I have to wet the garment, it's just a little bit different. I don't really like doing that. Okay, so that was our wash away, heat away stabilizers. So now there is also tear away stabilizers. Tear away stabilizers are very different in that they literally just tear away. Now we have a saying, if you wear it, don't tear it. That is for garments that you wear, but there are some circumstances where you may have tear away on something that you wear. For example, a hat. You want to go ahead and get rid of that. So you just use a decent size tearaway. Then there's also reasons that you would use tearaway on things that you don't want to see. For example, if you have on a scarf or something that really you don't want the stabilizer to be shown there. So with tearaway stabilizers, there are also tearaway stabilizers that have a sticky backing. Now, in this particular backing sample, they actually have different colors. So here's a black. They have different textures. Of course, the weight is definitely different because as I get further to the back of this, I'm now in my thicker ones where this is 3.0. And then it kind of gives me, it has like a table of content that tells the different types of stabilizer, different types of tearaway, so that you can know what it is. So this one here is from Texas Specialties, but All Stitch also has one as well. And they give you all the different types of their what they call backings. This is actually cutaway. So there's so many different types. And so you have to make sure that you understand the garment that you're putting it on. You understand what you're going to do. So let me show you. And these are things that I've sewn. So this is my jacket. Let's put it here right. So on my jacket, it's pretty heavy. So I actually used a 3 point, I think it's 3.2 cutaway. And so one of the things that I always say, hey, Miss Karen, one of the things that I always say is you want to try at least to have your back inside of the garment to look just as good as the front, because you just never know who's looking at your work. But at the same time, you do want it to look nice. It's a representation of yourself. So as you are looking at garments and then looking at the stabilizer that you're going to use, you want to ensure that you're using the proper stabilizer. Now, for garments like t-shirts, so I just completed 100 t-shirts for a customer, and they were 100 long sleeve t-shirts, but they were kind of heavy. So they were 6-ounce t-shirts. But even on a 6 ounce or a thin t-shirt as this, one of the stabilizers has heat on it. So it is a fusible stabilizer. So on things like this, I tend to use fusible stabilizer, meaning I'm going to heat it up and attach it to the garment so that I can my material won't move. When you have material that has um, elastic or it will move or pull, it is very, very important that you take and you stabilize this fabric, because as you are embroidering, you will notice that it's shifting, and you'll notice after you take off the stabilizer that there may be some puckering around the stitching. So with that, that means you probably have the wrong stabilizer. So sometimes it's really, really good if you make a mistake, to keep the garment so that you can test on it later. So that is one of the things that I normally do as well. Now, let me show you this. I got a lot of compliments on this. I tend to push the envelope. So this writing on here is super tiny. And so one of the things, and this is probably a jacket that I've had now for maybe 3 or 4 years. And so this embroidery has been on here 3 to 4 years. And I wear this. I'm gonna tell you, this is probably one of my staple items that I wear to trade shows and things like that, because it's a vest. I can throw it over anything I'm wearing. And if I'm doing something, making a delivery, going to a site or something, I keep this in my car. So that way, in the event I don't have on like a full thing with my logo or something on it, I can actually throw this on and automatically, boom, I'm branded. So with stitching this small and this type of garment, you see it's more like it's almost like a rain jacket material, but not so plasticky. And it has a mesh interior. So the stabilizer that I use on this is a 3.8-inch cutaway. And let me tell you, the stitches have held. I haven't had to add anything else, but as you can see, this writing down here is super tiny, but you can actually read it. So, I got a lot of compliments on having this done like that from some actual embroidery teachers, which was really cool. And I mean, like the lady, Miss, oh gosh, I can't, Miss Lisa, that teaches in Brilliance. Hey, Miss Marla. Um, so the other thing I wanted to kind of hit on with stabilizers is that there's also the stabilizer that has a sticky backing. So it's normally a tearaway, and it's for anything that's hard to hoop. So if you have something that's hard to hoop, you may have some of the, this one's called Perfect Stick, but there's also like, I don't know, power. You got some, nope, that's fusible mesh. So there's like different types of tearaway. I mean, not tearaway, the sticky stabilizer. And so basically, if you were going to float something in the hoop, if you were going to, tea towels. Tea towels is a good example of something I might use my sticky backing for. Those are really, really good. So I try to use sticky backing on anything that I think is hard to hoop, especially if you don't have um, a larger hoop to fit it in, or even a magnetic hoop. Those are good for that as well. All right, so we've talked about types of stabilizer. We've talked about matching the stabilizer's fabric. We've also talked about using stabilizers correctly. Now, removing stabilizer. So the best way to take off the stabilizer without messing up your design is slowly, cut slowly, tear it off slowly. Do not go whoop, rip it off. Oh my God, you may end up losing your stitches depending on how, I mean, don't just go whoop, rip. Don't do that. So take it off slowly, cut slowly because you don't want, and make sure that as you're cutting, you're actually looking at the garment. So I'm gonna show you a couple. So like this towel, and by the way, I'm a licensed vendor for Phi Beta Sigma, so no, you can call whoever you want. I'm licensed. But so for this towel, for example, um, you see the stitching. It is not something. It is right there in the forefront, and this is white on white, guys, and you can still see kind of like you can really see it. So that is white on white, and it looks good. Now, this scarf, on the other hand, um, the white stands out, right? So you still can see it. It didn't sink in. I did use the two different stabilizers. So on top, I had the heat away, and then under the bottom, I actually had a cutaway. So now, depending on the fabric, this cutaway that I used for this one was probably my 1.8. So I used a medium weight tearaway, sorry, a medium weight tearaway, and I used my my heat tearaway. So it's like water soluble, but you just heat it away. Now, one thing that I've noticed about the heat away stabilizer is that I don't always have to use it, because once I tear it off, a lot of it comes right off. So you don't have to worry about that when you're using it. Um, so, storage of your stabilizer. Let me just tell you, once you are in the throes of embroidering and you have this drawer of stabilizer like I have here, plus I have a whole lot of the ones that are pre-cut, it is very important that you know what stabilizer is which and how you're storing it. So one of the things that I tend to do with my stabilizers, especially this in the roll, is when I take off the top. You know what? I'm gonna have to. When I take the front of this thing off, I tend to stick the paper in the roll in the tube, just in case I forget what it is, because that could happen. So this is a heat and stay tearaway. So basically, what heat and stay tearaway is, it's basically used for like linens and cottons, and if you're doing something, maybe even denim, even so. But it's normally on anything that's woven, a woven fabric, and you're gonna use it for temporary use. And so it has like the shiny, let's see if I go at an angle. It has like the shininess on it. And this is the side that you would adhere to the garment so that you could actually iron it. And then you'll be able to make sure that that garment is stabilized. Now, again, I tend to keep whatever came with it. This is wrapped around the roll. This was on the outside. And I just stick it inside of my roll. That way I keep it. And once I pull it out, I know exactly what it is, because sometimes, because it is a tearaway, a lot of tearaways look a lot alike. And so just by tearing it, it means nothing. But knowing that it is an adhesive one is very important to know, because I don't want to use this on the wrong garment. Let's see if there's anything else special that I do in this drawer. No, I don't think so. Like, again, inside my rolls, I put all the paperwork, so that way I know what it is. Very, very good thing, especially if you have rolls. Now, if you do use the pre-cut sheets, just make sure that you're putting those pre-cut sheets somewhere that you may want them to use. No. So you put them somewhere that you can easily access them so that you can use them. And what else? So that's storage. So our 5 things today: types of stabilizer, matching fabric and stabilizer, using stabilizers correctly, removing the stabilizer, and then stabilizer storage. So those are our 5 things today. I have one more thing. So one more thing, guys. Today I adopted a puppy, and she is laying down here. She is the cutest little thing. I'm going to share. Her name is Hunny, and I'm going to show you guys, because let me tell you, she is the cutest little thing. Come here. Uh-oh, hold on. So this is Hunny. Say hi, ladies and gentlemen. Say, my name is Hunny. So this is Hunny, guys. And so she'll be hanging out with us while we're on live and stuff like that. But right now, she's just getting acclimated. But she's laying on her little bed, looking up, watching me. So, all right, guys, that's all I have for today. So, I'm trying out some ending taglines. Y'all have to tell me in the comments what you think. So, I've been saying go sew something, but I also thought of thread the needle. So, which one do you like? Go sew something or thread the needle? I don't know. I like them both. So maybe I'll say go sew something and thread the needle. Who knows? But let me know what you think in the comments. Otherwise, have a good week. Tell them bye. Say bye, guys. Don't forget to like.